present the paper's block order bits prediction for the day-ahead market. We'll start with an overview of the presentation, and then we'll proceed with some definition. At the beginning, we'll discuss in introduction, and we'll discuss about the benefits of predicting the number of accepted block order bits on the day-ahead market. We will mention some details about the energy market, especially for the day-ahead market, which this paper focuses on, then the definition of euthymia and how the block order bits are connected to it. Then we'll discuss the machine learning methodologies that were adapted in an attempt to find the machine learning methodology that most accurately predicts the number of accepted block order bits. Then the data sources from which the inputs were retrieved, and we will discuss also some key factors in the pre-processing of this single data and the training of the machine learning algorithms. Then we will discuss the results, highlighting the results from the machine learning methodology that most accurately predicts the number of accepted bits. And then we will discuss we present the aim of our future work. The way that the energy markets are organized, energy traders need accurate market predictions in order to be able to plan their strategies beforehand and minimize their risk. On the other hand, the generation units send offers in the form of bits in order to sell a certain amount of energy in a predefined price. Now, euthymia is a pan-European algorithm for the coupling of the day-ahead power markets across all the Europe. Its main objective is to achieve an equilibrium between the energy supply and energy demand, and maximizing the social welfare. To do so, some bits are accepted and some others are rejected. And the beforehand knowledge of acceptance of certain bits is important to the energy traders in order to be able to plan their strategy and to maximize their profits. Towards this direction, the scope of this paper is to predict the number of accepted block order bits on the day-ahead market. In this slide, the benefits from the bit predictions are presented. Also mentioned before, the beforehand knowledge of the day-ahead market allows energy traders to better form their strategies and minimize their trading risks. The number of accepted bits is an indication to which generators will be activated for the day ahead. And finally, accurate bit predictions as well as accepted energy quantities are the first step towards accurate price forecast, since these features can be used as inputs in models that predicting the price. An overview of the energy markets is presented in this slide. It can be seen that the first three energy markets are utilized for energy exchanges, and the last one is used from the system operator. Energy derivatives markets and bilateral OTC covers a time period from 1 year to 1 week between the agreement and the actual delivery of the energy. The day-ahead market, which this paper focuses on, provides a framework for energy exchanges the previous day before the actual delivery. And the intraday market covers the time period from 1 day before to the day of the actual delivery. Balancing market is responsible for the real-time energy exchanges. The day-ahead market, which this paper focuses, presents the largest amount of energy transactions. The different type of bits that can be used in the markets are presented in this slide. There are aggregated Howard bits, complex bits, merit and pan, and block order bits. The last one is the bits that this paper focuses and aims to predict. This type of bits are accepted and rejected as a whole, and are mostly used by generation units that use lignator gas as fuel, since this type of units should either be activated and work for consecutive hours or not activated at all. The machine learning methodologies that were tested in this paper are presented here. Machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence, and are algorithms that improve the self through experience by the use of data. They are data-driven approaches, since the algorithm is iterating over the data to identify patterns that assist it into resolving the matter at hand. Either this problem is the processing of an image or the prediction of time series. Two types of machine learning methodologies were used in this paper. The first one is neural networks or artificial neural networks, and the second one is convolutional neural networks, which is a variation of artificial neural networks, and are mainly used for the processing of images or for the prediction of time series. The second one, the convolutional neural networks, is an approach that most accurately predicts the number of accepted bits and presents the best results. The 1D convolutional neural networks have 1D kernels. This type of kernels convolve inputs only of the same time series for multiple time steps. On the other hand, 2D convolutional neural layers use 2D kernels convolving multiple separated time series in different time steps, and thus understanding the patterns in all inputs for multiple time steps. This is also one of the reasons that we believe that the two convolutional networks present the best results. The data sources from which the inputs are retrieved for the algorithms are presented here. The demand forecast and the rest generation forecast are retrieved from the NSOE. The prices for the coal and the oil are obtained from the business insider, and the historical data, historical block order bits from the previous day, from the day of interest, are obtained from the HENEX, which is the Hellenic Energy Exchanges, and is the market for the energy exchanges in Greece. The input data that presented in the previous slide were pre-processed before we use them in the machine learning algorithms. This data were transformed into 24 time-step series, and then a minimum maximum normalization per input feature was performed. Regarding the training, hyperparameter optimization was performed. A grid search was used, since a large number of different hyperparameters combined together are utilized in different number of narrows in the case of neural networks, and the filters in the case of per layer in the case of convolutional neural networks. For the case of convolutional neural networks, 1D and 2D convolutional layers changing the kernel's dimensions was used. Furthermore, early stopping was used to avoid overfitting, and cross-validation to objectify the results on the test set. A train validation test ratio of 80, 10, and 10 was also adopted. The results are presented here concerning the map indicator, which is the difference between the actual and the predicted value divided by the actual value. It can be seen that for all the examined cases, the deeper the architecture is, the better are the results that obtained. It can also be seen that the 2D convolutional neural networks present a better performance in predicting the number of the head accepted block order bits, with a minimum map of 10.29. The results for the 2D convolutional neural network architecture, which is the architecture that presents the lowest map score is presented in this slide. In the left-hand side diagram, it can be seen the map for all the examined test cases. It can be seen that the map between 0 and 10% is obtained for about the half of the cases. For the rest, half of the cases, a map between 10 to 20% is obtained, and only for about 5 cases the map exceeds the 20%. And in the right-hand side diagram of the presentation, the comparison between the predicted and actual values is presented for the case with the lowest map. It can be seen that the difference between the predicted and the actual value is only one bit off. To conclude, the future work of the aim of our future work is presented here. The prediction of the accepted quantity of the bits apart from the number of the bits is one step. Then the separation of the offers between the lightning and the natural gas. The estimation of the probability of acceptance of a certain bit. And finally, to expand the prediction to the other type of bits apart from the block order bits. That's all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Anyone? Do you have any questions?
I can go. So I don't know if I missed it, but did you do any type of features or feature engineering on the data that you have, or it was just raw data used as inputs without any feature engineering?
To be honest, I'm not fully involved in the paper, the creation of the paper, so I'm not aware for the technical details. As far as I know, the pre-processing of data was the one that presented in this here to transform them into 24-hour time step series, and then to the maximum and minimum normalization.
I say that because often, and since the convolution, the 1D convolution work, it extracts features, transform features in a window, 1D window that follows your data. Often a simpler model with lags and leads applied to the forecasts or to the measurement values work. And I think, I don't know if you have it in the paper, I will read it, but I don't know if you have a simpler model with different types of feature engineering to compare to the neural net, just for the purpose to see what's the real improvement there. Because otherwise, again, we have a neural network, but it's important to compare with a more simpler approach. I don't know if you have it in the paper.
And there are more details in the paper.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Very good ideas. We did not really did any future selection.
Okay.
And that's a good step.
Yeah, because often here, sometimes this type of neural networks already do some information extraction from the data, but often maybe a simpler model that takes less time to train may lead to good results here with some proper feature engineering. So just an advice to try if you go in that way.
I know we tried simpler neural networks, but without processing the input data, so
Okay.
you're right.
Yeah, I have one small question. I also missed it, but did you show like the final structure of the network that you've used? Because like on the slides, it seemed to me as if you were just like explaining the main concept, but I probably missed like a figure where you have your network like with the amount of like layers and stuff, like the actual structure.
No,
Do you have it?
the only
Or maybe in the paper, I'll just go to this.
this for the convolution on that.
Ah, I see, okay. Yes, I see. Okay. Thank you. And then the second small question regarding the bits, because I once tried to get data from EEX, from the energy exchange, and it was extremely difficult. But like, how does your Greece exchange work? Like, do you just get some API and you can just download data for like the last days, or like how does this work?
All the data are retrieved from these data sources, but an intermediate platform were used to extract.
Okay.
I think it is called DM. It was developed in our laboratory. All the data are retrieved from this platform through from this.
I see. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can go again, if you don't mind. Regarding again this data part, you said you use data from NSOE, so you aggregate data from multiple DSOs. Did you make any specific consideration while retrieving data regarding forecasts? Because a problem with NSOE is that they have a forecast indicator, but that indicator for wind or solar, that variable keeps being updated like each few hours. So the forecasts that you have for the past are not actually forecasts computed in useful time for market participation. It's like forecasts computed with a 6 hours ahead horizon. And so I don't know if you made any consideration there, but if not, that might be something to improve in the future. You can control every day you retrieve the data for tomorrow and you save it somewhere, and you make sure that the data is actually data that is available for tomorrow. Because that's a problem that I see often in the end. So like, the forecasts that are there are more accurate than they should be. Okay, I don't know if you made any consideration on that.
Can I again perhaps help Efstratios to say that this data is based on a platform that we have developed that collects all public data in Europe, coming from NSOE, from INEX, from the exchanges, from also for gas, and this is updated every time there's an update in the basic.
So you retrieve and you save the data where it was retrieved.
So
you
yes,
make
there's
sure
always an update of
Okay.
the most current data.
So there's that consideration. That's important because otherwise you have very good forecasts in historical, and then when you put something in operational, it doesn't work as well because the variables have a high weight because they were very good forecasts in historical, but it isn't realistic for the future. So that's something just to take into account here.
Also, let me say that the accuracy of forecasting is not so important for this particular application to forecast the number of block orders.
Okay.
Okay, once again, we give him another big hand.